What's up, guys? It is Friday, May 24th, 2024. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 844,934. Man, TikTok next block. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Orlando, Florida. I'm making this video kind of early. It's 11:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody's still in their bedrooms. I came downstairs and nobody was down there. I hear some people up, but I guess today is going to be a real busy day. We got a bunch of stuff to do. So I said, you know what? If I don't have time to make a video, then I can't keep my promise. So let me go ahead and knock it out. But anyways, I hope you guys are well. The start of the weekend for me, because I'm on vacation, it feels like a weekend. Now this is the park I had took my my grandson to yesterday. This little small park over here. This is a nice little area over here. That the first video I made yesterday, I made over there with the pond and the little thing you sit in. And I haven't been over here yet. So let's scare some people and let's go over here because I like to walk around. But yeah, it feels like a weekend for me because you know, I'm on vacation. And I'm not gonna lie, it's killing me right now to not be working and stacking sats, but that's for another video. If you're coming here, because sometimes when I make titles like this, I have, you know, Donald Trump fans or people that are coming to me that don't know me. Real quick, my name is Jerry. My channel is called Jerry Loves Freedom. I'm a Bitcoiner. I love Bitcoin, love my family, love God, and I love my country, man. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today real quick. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about politics, but I got to talk about this today. We're going through some very historical times in this country right now. I mean, of course, every day that goes by, it's different than the next or whatever. And things that happen through different timelines are obviously historic. But this one in particular, the trials that are going on with Donald Trump. Yes, and I like Donald Trump. Okay, I'm not a Republican. I used to be a Democrat. I left the Democratic Party probably late 2010, early 2011. I voted for Barack Obama the first time, did not vote for him the second time. Lifelong Democrat, I'm 49 years old, so I've been out since I was in my 30s. Grew up a Democrat, read the Democrat and Chronicle every morning when I was older or younger. Grew up in New York State, a heavy blue state. But I always liked Donald Trump. You know, I always liked him. When I got into real estate, I used to be a real estate investor, part-time real estate investor, and an entrepreneur and an investor and other things. I learned a lot from Donald Trump and his philosophies. So I've read his books, I've ordered some of his courses and everything else. And then when he ran for president the first time, mistakenly, I did not vote for him the first time in 2016. I wasn't into politics like that. I just thought that, you know, I didn't think he had the right temperament, and I thought he was too much, you know, kind of conceited and into himself and not very emotionally stable. And I was afraid about that red button and stuff. And I kind of fell for a little bit of the tricks of the mainstream talking about him. Not much, 'cause I didn't watch a lot of news and stuff like that. I was more into sports and basketball. But anyways, yesterday was an historic day, coming off the backs of an historic these trials and these, in my personal opinion, absolute nonsense persecutions of our former president, Donald Trump. I just think, me personally, they're absolutely nonsense. And the reason I say me personally, let me get to that in a minute, right now, and I'll get to the other stuff in a second. As you can see, I am a darker shade of color, if you haven't noticed. And normally people that look like me and are related to me, and I'm pretty sure in your life you see people that look like me that have a certain way of thinking about the world and looking at the world. Well, let's just say me and my wife are the only ones in that house that are based, if you will. I guess they would call us Republicans, conservatives, or conservatives, sellouts, whatever. I mean, they didn't call us that, but I got a house full of people over there. There's 10 plus people in that house. We got a 4-bedroom and there's a lot of us piled in there. And one guy in particular, my wife's best friend, her husband, now she's the same age as her best friend the same age. They're, you know, they grew up together. But her husband, her significant other, is older. She got an older man. So he's 65 years old. He's born 1959. I was born 1975. So he's 16 years older than me. And he's not a particularly dumb guy. He's not. Now, he's not particularly like smart. He's just an average guy, right? And, you know, he's in pretty good shape too, by the way. He looks good, man. You know what they say about black? Doesn't crack too much. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, wow, one day, hopefully I can, you know, physically look like him, because he you know, skin looks good for his age, no wrinkles. You know, he's got some grays, but, you know, he's a healthy guy, right? Healthy mind, spirit, and everything else. But this guy, he's really into politics, right? So we walked to a restaurant the other day. This is going to be a long video, I'm guessing. Sorry, guys. And we walked to the restaurant the first night we got here. And then we ate and had a good time and laughed and stuff. And, you know, I'm on vacation, man. So I'm not trying to give out a lot of my political views, if you will. But I did have that on. And I forget about it because it's part of my ensemble, man. The shades, my watch. Let's go, Brandon. And me being on the Swan Bitcoin app on my phone. Speaking of that, you want $10 of free Bitcoin, click on the Swan Bitcoin app. First $10,000 of fees are waived. You get a lot of Bitcoin. Study Bitcoin if you haven't, if you're new. And we're walking back, and he's a little bit ahead of me. And so I kind of nudged my wife, because he was talking about Donald Trump and everything else. And I said, yeah, man, we got to take this country back. And he stopped dead in his tracks. And he goes, what do you mean by that? And he looked back at me. Now, I had a choice to make right there, because she kind of nudged on me like, don't, Jerry, please don't. Now, I don't know this man. I don't know him well. I you know, I've met him and stuff like that, but it's not like we're in a, you know, friendship, calling you, texting relationship. We just see each other when we see each other. And I said, well, I just think this current administration is doing a terrible job. He goes, oh, you're a Trump fan. You're a Republican. I said, well, I'm a fan of America, and I believe these policies are America last. And that's it. And I just kept walking. And he's like, well, what do you mean by that? Now, I didn't know that this guy was, he was the Democrat version of me, I guess. He's all into politics. And he's, you know, we're going back and forth, and I'm just talking to him. I'm not saying, oh, you know, this. I'm just asking, you know, I said, you think Joe Biden's doing a good job? He's like, yeah, he's doing a great job. You know, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, what about inflation? Now, what I'm getting ready to say is not to make fun of this guy or talk down to him, but he has no idea where inflation comes from. And again, 99% of the people don't. I didn't even know, and I was into finance. I'm a finance major at school, and I didn't even fully recognize or understand it. He's like, oh, because of Trump. I said, oh, Trump caused inflation. He goes, yeah. I go, that's true. I go, but how did he do it? Tell me how he did it. Well, you know, the lockdowns and blah, 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 and all the stuff, which the stuff that he was saying, I don't even remember what he was saying, but it definitely wasn't right, what he was saying. I said, well, just to correct you, I'm not talking to you like I'm a know-it-all or nothing, but I do, you know, study finance. This is my, you know, realm of, you know, what I do and stuff. And I said, that's not exactly true. I said, you know, there's not a king here in America. We're not a monarchy. I said, but we do have a justice or a balanced system in up there in Washington, D.C., that we have the House, the Senate, you know, Congress, and then we have the executive branch. And things have to go through the House first because they represent us. Then it has to be passed up to the Senate, and then it goes to the president's president's desk for he can sign that bill. And he's like, oh yeah. He didn't know that, which fine. Nobody really studies it. And again, I tell people to study your politics, study your government, study on the local level, your very, very local level, close as you can to, then than the bigger people up in your state. And when I mean local level, I'm talking about your town, your county, stuff like that on the state level. Find out who your governor is, what's going on with the legislators there, and then focus on the federal government. Those are the people that they show on TV. Those are the big boys. And to be honest, the higher they go, kind of like the stupider they are. Once you really look at it, because when you look at Republicans and Democrats, they're different on the state and federal level. Like the federal legislators that we have, the Democrats up there are just terrible. They're just terrible. They're just part of a regime that I'm not going to get into now. But on the state level, they're more open. Almost some of these Democrats, to be honest with you, are kind of like moderates. They're liberals. They're kind of like JFK Democrats. They're not bad people or nothing like that. They're not bought and paid for and working for a cabal like these people up there. But anyways, so we kept on talking and stuff. And he's basically saying Biden's doing a great job. I go, look, man, with all due respect, I said, are you a Biden fan? You know, he starts talking to me. Oh, well, you know, I said, you didn't answer the question. I said, and all he said is, I don't like Trump. I said, I get it, but you do realize Trump is not the president, right? He's just not the president. I go, so again, what do you like about Biden, and are you a Biden fan? And he started talking about some other stuff. My point of this story is this: I can go on and on about the stuff he was saying. Nobody likes Joe Biden, okay? This guy is all into politics. He can't tell you what Biden did. He just knows that Trump is a racist. Trump is a misogynist. Trump is a dictator. Because he asked me, he goes, you want a dictator in the in the White House? And I go, how do you figure, who's a dictator? Oh, Trump's a dictator. He didn't want to give up power. I said, give up power when? What are you talking about? Oh, January 6th. I go, oh, okay. I said, so he didn't leave the office? What do you mean? No, he won those 11,000 votes in Georgia. I go, yeah, he was trying to find them. He wasn't trying to make them up out of thin air. He was just asking if we can find some more so we can win. Find some more that were hidden or hasn't been counted, okay? I go, have you noticed that Donald Trump was winning that night, and then late in the night, he wasn't? And all of a sudden, oh, no, man, people are tired of Trump. Nobody wants Trump. That's why. I go, and you believe Joe Biden got 81 million votes? You believe that? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, man. You know, I said, look, man, again, with all due respect, Joe Biden has screwed his country up as far as you can throw it. What do you mean? I said, okay, and I gave, the crime here in America, especially in liberal cities, is the worst it's ever been. We're living in a lawless nation right now. Inflation is completely out of control. I go, and our borders are absolutely wide open, and we have a lot of people dying, not only from the fentanyl that's coming in here, but the illegals that are taking their jobs, and they're not going to be able to work. It's going to be done even more in the future. And also the illegals that have killed people. They're undocumented. He goes, oh, that's not true. I go, what do you mean? He goes, illegals been coming in since Trump. They were coming in here since Trump. I go, wow. I go, what do you watch, man? Oh, I watch all kind of stuff. I watch Fox News, because Fox News is a propagandist. Propaganda. I go, that's the first thing you said right. I go, yeah. I go, what about MSNBC? Oh, no, they tell the truth. He goes, yeah, they're a little biased, but, even CNN, I don't really like CNN because CNN, they give Trump too much credit. They're too nice to Trump. We got a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, let me not go on a rant about that because it's going to be a long video. And we just, we're going back and forth. So anyway, so yesterday, Trump had that big rally in the Bronx, New York. This is what I'm making this video about. Trump absolutely went into enemy's territory yesterday, supposedly now, right? AOC said in the thing, I don't know if you saw her little speech. AOC, let me tell you something. When I say someone is stupid, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but that is one of the dumbest people, not women, she is one of the dumbest, intellectually dishonest, crooked, just absolutely an idiot. That woman is a complete and utter idiot. She goes up there and goes, oh, the Bronx don't want him. Bronx don't hate him. New York's blue, Bronx is blue, this is blue. They don't want him. Trump is broke, and he's paying people to come here. She said that in one sentence. She said, Trump is broke, but he's paying people to be here. I'm sorry. If you're broke, how do you pay people to be here? Again, and nobody fact checks her. This is MSDNC, by the way, she was on, saying all this nonsense. And if you talk to the people of the Bronx, excuse me, because they were, to be clear, he wasn't in her district. Okay, he was close to her district. All those people were out there. Most of them that they interviewed were like, "Look, man, we don't like AOC. AOC's stupid." She told them, if you like Trump, you're not a Democrat. And this one black dude came out there. You guys probably saw it on Fox News. The guy said, "Hey," AOC said, "You're not a Democrat. If you're out here for Trump," they go, "I'm a Democrat, and I'm voting for Trump." Listen, man, AOC's an idiot. Anyways, Trump went out there and absolutely annihilated that freaking narrative that Democrats and Bronx and blue cities and blue state. He's from New York, guys. Okay? Donald Trump is a yuppie from New York City, okay? He is not a Democrat or a Republican. He used to be a Democrat. He donated to all these people, right, to get certain buildings done in certain areas and this, that, and the third. He became president. He ran for president as an American because how screwed up this nation was. And he's not stupid, man. He called out Barack Obama with the birth certificate thing. He saw what was going on. Now, he didn't fully know until he got into office that there was a lot of snakes and creatures in the swamp, let's just say. He did not drain the swamp. He didn't. But he definitely lowered it down, like I've said in other videos, to expose who those absolute monsters and creatures are, man. And again, they're not all Democrats or Democrats. A lot of them are Republicans, man. And he ran for president when he came down an escalator in 2015. As I thought it was a joke, and I was wrong not to vote for him. I was wrong for that. He came down an escalator, and he made his speech, that famous speech. And that day, they started attacking him in the summer of 2015 until now. Been 9 years now coming up next month. I think it was June or July. He came out there to the Bronx yesterday, guys. If I said Brooklyn a couple times, I'm sorry. I do that sometimes. He came out there to the Bronx yesterday and absolutely just had a killer rally. You wouldn't have known the difference. You would have thought he was in Alabama or Arkansas or something. You know what I mean? And these people, even that look like me, are not falling for the nonsense anymore. Going back to my wife's best friend's husband, he tells me, why would I vote for a racist president? I said, what laws are racist? Oh, you didn't see what he did in the 1970s with those things with the housing thing? He discriminated against the black people, and then the New York 5, and that story with the black kids killed and all that stuff. I said, yeah, I heard about all that. I don't think he said they deserved the electric chair or whatever he said because they're black. I don't think so, because Donald Trump does a lot of talking, ladies and gentlemen. And if he said anything about the N-word or coloreds or blacks don't do this or don't do that, you best believe MSDNC, CNN, NBC, nothing but crap, ABC, CBS, and the rest of them would be playing that shit on a 24/7 loop. You know it, and I know it. And I go, look, man, I don't care if he's a racist or not, because I wouldn't, if that's the case, then if I were you, I wouldn't vote for Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is a racist. What do you mean? I started telling him all this stuff. Oh, that's because of this and that. I said, okay, whatever. And he goes, look, man, they took away affirmative action. I go, no. I mean, affirmative action is terrible, by the way. I said, but that's under Joe Biden's watch. Are you mad at Joe Biden about that? Because that just happened last year. Oh, no, it wasn't Joe Biden's fault. Inflation is not Joe Biden's fault. Nothing that goes wrong now is Joe Biden's fault. But the guy 3.5 years ago lives rent-free in these people's heads. And I go, bro, why don't you worry about who the president is now and not worry about the guy? Oh, because these MAGA Republicans, they do whatever he says. I go, what's MAGA mean, man? Tell me, say it to me. Oh, man, it's just a whistleblow for racism. I said, so saying make America great again, the country that you live in, is a dog whistle for racism? I said, bro, you got to turn off the news, man. Anyways, then he started telling me about, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that racist stuff they say? The little sneaky racism. Not white supremacy. I'll probably remember it. Do I think blacks are suppressed or something? Do I believe in, say the word for me, leave it in the comments. He basically said, do I believe in that? Do I believe in, you know, we're having racism against us? Absolutely not. I said, my grandmother, and I'm sure your parents and your grandparents too, went through some shit, dude. Mine went through some shit. My grandparents came from the South, and they went through real racism. They went up north to get away from it. And they told me all the stuff that happened. And this was in the 80s when I was a kid, and they were telling me how lucky I am, and I didn't have to go through this. And now 40 years later, from the 80s till now, you think I'm gonna stand around here and say I'm oppressed and I'm a victim and the white man got his foot on my neck? I could do whatever I want in this country, and so can you, bro. What? And he said, oh, no. I said, well, what can you do that the white man can't do? I ask them that all the time, and they never have an answer, because he listens to race hustlers like Roland Martin. I go, let me guess, you're a Roland Martin fan? If you don't know who he is, Google him real quick. Absolutely sinister person. He is a race hustler. And what is a race hustler? A race hustler is somebody that divides the country, who is a black supremacist. They're racist, and all they do is peddle lies and nonsense and try to divide us by color. See, let me tell you what a lot of these people do on the left now, okay? They don't go by your character and all this other stuff. If you're a white man, you're bad. If you're black, you're a victim. And I'm saying this now because I'm in a black household right now, and sometimes we live in a bubble. We do, in an echo chamber. But when I came downstairs and I seen that dude watching the Bronx rally on MSDNC, I think he was watching it on it. He was watching the coverage of it, and he was just getting absolutely brainwashed, man. You ever notice that a lot of conservatives, they get stronger with their convictions and you never go back to the Democrats if they were a Democrat or whatever? But most Democrats, when they go over to being a conservative, they stay there and realize they were lied to. Guys, we're winning, man. We're winning. And the reason why I'm making this video is this. Donald Trump, God bless this man. He needs to be protected at all time. I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting there watching him, and I'm just like, man, he's just out there in the wide open, and I don't even want to say the words. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. I pray for Donald Trump multiple times a day. I really do. This man needs to be protected at all times, man. He really does, because they're throwing everything at the sink, everything but the kitchen sink at him, and it ain't working. And when you try to, you know, lie about somebody in the media and all this and defame him, his name, and then the next step is probably going to put him in jail, and they may skip that step and try to do something else. We gotta pray for Donald Trump, man. We gotta pray for Donald Trump, because in his 4 years being in the office, if he gets in there from 24 to 28, he can't clean up this mess. Do you guys understand how many illegal immigrants, and yes, I said it, illegal immigrants are in this country right now? Do you have any idea? Some people say 8, some people say 12. Well, let me tell you something. If you talk to people down there in Texas and the illegals that are in here now, they're saying, man, Trump's going to win this election. We got to hurry up and get in here. You think the numbers from 2023, 2022, 2021 were bad and part of 2024 were bad? This is election season, guys, okay? These next 5 to 6 months, we are going to have an absolute... It's gonna look like World War Z with Brad Pitt, when all those freaking zombies were coming over the walls and stuff like that. It's gonna be an absolute invasion coming in, because they know that this is their last chance. And can Donald Trump do a mass deportation? You know how much money that's gonna cost, and how logistically tough that's gonna be? And he's gonna have to be fighting his butt off, and then he has to try to get the dollar back and get inflation under control and get crime under control. Man, he's got a lot of work, and there's no way, if he, you know, this was his first term and he could do 8 years, yeah, his second half is the last 8 years he could do it, but in 4 years he's not gonna be able to do it. So we got to keep this America First movement going. It ain't about Donald Trump, man. This started in the 1770s of our country, And everybody gets caught up with the MAGA thing and Donald Trump being a dog whistleblower or whatever, saying that this is racism and this is just Donald Trump things and this is far right. How is it far right to love your country? How is it far right to love your family? How is it far right to say a man is a man and a woman is a woman and men shouldn't be in women's sports and there shouldn't be crime and we should be one nation under God? If that's a far rightist, then so fucking be it. I'll be one, right? You're going to have a lot of people in this country hurting, man, hurting. And what's going to happen when Donald Trump takes over this completely screwed up economy? Because they're going to try to lower the interest rates. They have to before the election. They have to, but it's too late. What are they going to do if Donald Trump gets in, by the way? And by the way, my prediction still stands. If you haven't been on my channel, if you heard my prediction, I don't think there's going to be an election. That's my number one thing, because they can't beat him. The only one that can compete with him is probably Michelle Obama. I'm talking about compete with Biden's numbers, because, you know, she's a household name, and, you know, but that's going to be late summer, early fall when they do it. It may be too late, who knows, because I don't think Biden's going to run if there is an election. But my number one prediction is there's not going to be an election. I don't think so, because of all this trickery that happened in 2020 that I can't talk about on this channel, because again, free speech ain't free. That's my prediction for that. But Donald Trump, when he adopts this absolute craziness of what happened in the last administration, because best believe in my lifetime, and I've studied a lot of presidents, man, I believe Joe Biden, to me, hands down, in my personal opinion, in my studies, Joe Biden hands down is the worst president in the United States history out of all 46 presidents. He just is. Jimmy Carter had that mantra, and a couple of other old ones did. You know, we're up there. In my lifetime, it's Jimmy Carter, and then you had George Bush Jr. I think it's George W. Bush Jr. He was terrible. That's why Obama got in. He was a smooth talker. But this guy right here, and again, he's not in control, guys. Let's keep that 100. Joe Biden is not running a mother thing, okay? He's not running anything. He's a complete and utter puppet. There's no way Donald Trump can clean this up. So what do we do, right? Let's wrap this up. What do we do? I'm an American, man. I love my country. Again, I say this all the time. I know I'm a Bitcoiner, but I say this all the time. It's God, my family, in this country, and then Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I do. But I'm a patriot. I was in the military for a while. And I believe that I've been overseas, and I've been in a lot of different countries. When I was younger, I did. And I've been learning about different countries around the world and stuff like that. We're the trendsetter, guys. We're the experiment. We don't have a monarchy. Nobody does it like us. We're the trendsetters. Everything we do, they follow us. Our movies, our culture, our music, everything, man. We are the number one nation in the world, but we have the weakest leader in the world right now in our nation. I'm not telling anybody to vote for Trump. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is do not play the political games. Again, Donald Trump may be a Republican in name, but he's an American in his game. He just is. And that's why Democrats and everything else are resonating with him, because when you put your party first, like my friend over here, because he told me Democrats, I go, do you like America better or being a Democrat better? He goes, oh, it's the same. He goes, Democrats love America. Anyways, and when he said that, wow, the brainwashing is real, guys. Listen, educate yourself. Don't watch the mainstream media, or what I like to call the lamestream media, or the corporate media, or the state-sponsored propagandists, because that's what they are. They're liars and they're propagandists. And try to do the best you can to educate yourself on the history of this country, learn about your local politicians on the local level, the state level, and the federal level. Do the best you can to do that. Try to wake these people up and put your country first. Now, I realize a lot of you guys are not Americans. You do the same with your country. But I'm an American. I love my country. And right now, in the summer of the year of our Lord, 2024, our best choice and our only choice is Donald J. Trump. for the United States office of presidency. But also, on that note, the orange man is definitely my president. But as far as the president of my money, because he's not going to be able to save us financially, he's just not. The only way you're going to save yourself is figure out what the history of money is. Go back and look at it. Figure out what's going on in the midterm history, maybe in the early 1900s and stuff like that. Read about the Federal Reserve, when that got started, when the Bretton Woods Agreement got started, and then what happened before that in World War I, World War II, what led up to the Bretton Woods Agreement, and then find out what happened with Richard Nixon in 1971. Now, he gets a bad name. I'm going to make a video about Richard Nixon, by the way. A lot of people think he's a bad guy because he took us off the gold standard. A lot of us Bitcoiners and gold stackers. But Richard Nixon is one of our greatest, most underrated, most misunderstood presidents in United States history. And I'll tell you why in another video. Look that stuff up and look what happened. And look up WTF happened in 1971. Our world's completely changed. A lot of you people, a lot of you youngins weren't even born before that. Find out the history of money. Donald Trump is going to fix a lot of things in this country, but he can't fix your finances. He can't. And you got to figure out which boat to jump on when it comes to your savings, because they're all leaking energy, ladies and gentlemen. Every single one of them, gold and silver, are leaking energy. Fiat currency is just, you know, sinking. It's almost underwater. Stocks, bonds, traditional financial instruments, they're all leaking, man. They all are. There's only one boat that you can jump on that has absolutely no leaks. Not only does it not have any leaks, it might float above the water. It start floating in midair. Okay? And I'm serious. And it's only one thing. And I think you guys already know what it is. If you want to put your money and your energy and your life, your finite life, into something that will not only hold on to your purchasing power, but increase your purchasing power throughout your life, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one way to go. And I want you to say it with me. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.